Hi everyone, I'm Josh, co-founder and CEO of Squidly. My background is in biomedical engineering and accessible design, and joining me is Gabriel, my co-founder and CTO. He has a background in computer vision and app development. So the plan is, over the next few minutes, I'll host a typical telehealth session in Squidly, and Gabriel is going to help me as a participant. In fact, what you're viewing from the session is actually from Gabriel's point of view, from the participant's point of view. So everything you're going to see inside the demo is via his screen. So just for some context, Squidly grew out of a research fellowship through a Cerebral Palsy Alliance and the University of Sydney. And from the beginning, it's been co-designed and co-developed with people with lived experience, families, and clinicians. What we kept on seeing was that most video calls answer one very narrow question, which is just simply, did the person join? But in things like rehabilitation, therapy, and care, that bar is simply too low. So Squidly is an assistive access and communication system for telehealth. It brings video, communication support, accessible control, and interactive activities all into the one shared space. So people who use AAC or eye gaze or switch or joystick or supported access can take part more directly. The questions we're trying to solve is things like, can the person initiate, control pace, communicate, play, answer, and more importantly, be recognized as an active participant in their own session. So 3 quick things before we begin the demo. The first is Squidly runs entirely in the browser. So there's no extra software or specialist hardware needed to get started. The second is we want to make joining as simple as possible for a participant. So they join through a secure link. There's no account, no sign-in, and no multi-factor authentication. And the third is every button or structured activity is designed to work with the access method familiar to that person. So it could be eye gaze, switches, joystick, touch, keyboard, or mouse. So here, I'm a clinician, I'm in the clinician view, and Gabriel is the participant. What we first might want to do is open up settings. So a lot of the time, accessibility starts before the activity even begins. So from my side, I can adjust Gabriel's session environment, and that could look like his camera and microphone, layout size, contrast, voice, and access method here as well. So the session can begin in an access-ready state, instead of starting with a family trying to solve these setups alone. Great. Now I'll show you the eye gaze. So this is the calibration area. Someone with a dedicated eye gaze device can use it here, or someone just starting out on their eye gaze journey can explore using an ordinary webcam while their hardware trials or funding or waiting lists are still being worked through. And a clinician can make a very simple assessment whether it's a suitable access method for them. Once calibrated, which Gabriel already has done, he can select directly using the webcam eye gaze, and you can see him moving around the screen using his eye gaze there. That's the shift. So not someone else doing it for him, but Gabriel making the choice, and as a clinician, I can see what's happening on the other side of the screen. Great. Now I might want to open up apps, and I'll bring up LAMP Words for Life. So say Gabriel is a LAMP Words for Life grid set user. The aim here is not to replace a person's AAC, it's to keep familiar communication available inside of the telehealth session, beside the video and activity. So for people who rely on consistent motor plans, communication should not be pushed into a separate chat box or handled by someone else. It should remain part of the shared clinical interaction. Cool. Now maybe for something more fun, I'll open up an accessible game and turn the eye gaze back on for Gabriel. It looks like play, it is, but it actually gives clinicians a quick view, for example, of target selection, timing, visual attention, motivation, fatigue, and they all get captured automatically and displayed in a session report in the clinician console. So Gabriel's controlling the game with his eyes, and the session can move at his pace. He could also use a touch or a joystick or direct mouse, and this experience is shared and interactive. And that's the engagement you can see, and it's an engagement you don't have to infer. Great. Finally, I'll open up a quick quiz. So this could be a structured task. I'll turn the eye gaze back off. This could be a structured task, or an assessment, or even a fun game. Gabriel can activate switch scanning, and he can answer questions, or we can answer questions together that way. So the quiz is controlled at his pace, and we can take turns. That matters because Squidly supports different physical and communication access needs, including when access changes across recovery, fatigue, posture, or environments. At the end of the quiz, We can also download a report. So I'll just click to the very end of the quiz, and that shows you how he went with various heat maps and charts embedded in it as well. Great. So that's Squidly in about under 4 minutes. It's browser-based, encrypted and secure, low friction, designed so that communication, access, and activity live inside the same shared space. What you hopefully saw was not just the feature call, but a different pattern of participation. So Gabriel here can initiate, control pace, and interact directly and be understood. And to try it, give feedback and explore whether it can support a possible pilot with your team. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching.